Hi. We are told that to dress well, there are certain rules that we need to follow. But I actually think these are pretty common style lies. And one of the biggest is that we all need to look like each other. When there are certain trends, it seems like there's a whole package that goes with each of those trends. You know, a certain type of outfit, a certain type of shoe, accessory, hairdo. I think that the people who are truly stylish, they look like themselves. They don't look like a carbon copy of someone else or a trend. I mean, I'm not saying that we need to go out there and try to reinvent the wheel every day. What I'm saying is, don't worry about these formulaic rules. Take aspects of trends if you like them, but ultimately find a way to make them have a home within your own style narrative. Another style lie is that fashion is style. It is not, my friend. Fashion is a series of cyclical trends. They change every few months and in some cases every few weeks. There's always something new happening. The wheel of fashion is constantly revolving. Sometimes people confuse fashion for style. Style is not fashion. Fashion is a great way to get inspired. Fashion is a great way to refresh your wardrobe. Fashion is a great way to get ideas, but fashion, my friend, is not style. Style is actually a limited, restricted range of rules that you have for your own self. It's a specific narrative with specific constraints, specific colors, textures, and cuts that are specifically for the person. And honestly, if you are chasing fashion, you will not necessarily find style, although you can find inspiration for it there. Everyone looks good in tonal neutrals. That's right, black, white, and gray. And not only is it not true that everyone looks good in those tones, but it's also true that some people can't handle the audacity of the contrast of black and white. So before you go out there watching style videos telling you how to dress and telling you what your essentials should be, keep in mind that you might just not have the kind of natural coloring that can carry a white shirt and a black blazer. It just might not be for you. In fact, you might look a lot better in earthy tones. So do pay attention to your natural coloring. And I will also say that not everything in fashion or style is about looking flattering. So sometimes you can have colors in your wardrobe that have some sort of an impact that maybe are a little unsettling, maybe because they don't necessarily look good on you naturally, but maybe they have some sort of effect in your wardrobe in terms of creating a focal point. It's not that I'm saying that everything needs to be prim and proper and perfect. I think when we speak about colors that look good on you based on your natural coloring, we kind of think about this idea of unity and a general sense of harmony. I'm using art words, that's right. I used to be an art teacher, so I can do that. But actually, sometimes it's unsettling contradictions that make an impactful statement when it comes to getting dressed. So what's the lesson here? Forget about what people say about colors. You need to find your own formulas when it comes to color. You need to figure out the colors that you feel good in, not just in terms of your natural looks, but in terms of the mood that those colors carry. And you also need to figure out the formulas for how to wear those colors if they are colors that aren't necessarily quite right for you. Know your colors, baby. Know your colors. Namaste. Oh, we haven't finished. No, the video isn't finished here. It's time to thank today's video sponsor, Organic Basics. Now, Organic Basics sent me some items that I'm very excited about. And probably most noticeably this wrap top that I'm wearing right now. And let me tell you a little bit more about the fine knit range at Organic Basics. It is a ballet inspired collection of ultralight wool blend layers. Organic Basics use wool sourced from farms with responsible land management practices. I got 2 V-neck wrap sweaters, one in the grey, one in the lavender mist. There are also shorts in the range. These are called the fine knit shorts. I also got a V-neck sweater, which is a beautiful oversized fit. I went for an extra small. As you can see, it's still quite large. And as always, it was time to replenish some of my favorite basics. I cannot live without the core triangle bralette. I have been wearing these since time immemorial. They're made of 2 layers of cotton. They're so comfortable. Organic Basics use GOTS certified organic cotton. I also got some active wear. So I got the active leggings in black, the active racer back bra, and I already had the active flare leggings from a previous collab with Organic Basics, but I did want to highlight these again just because they are my favorite walking pants at the moment. If you haven't heard of Organic Basics before, they are my go-to brand for everyday basics such as underwear, loungewear, activewear, and essentials such as tops and knitwear. Designed in Copenhagen, many of the styles come in a huge range of colors and inclusive sizing. Organic Basics only work with factories that uphold safe working conditions. They are proud partners of 1% for the Planet, donating 1% of their annual sales directly to certified global environmental initiatives. As always, Organic Basics has a discount code for my subscribers. It is up on the screen right now, and if you want to check out any of the products I've mentioned in this video, they are all linked in the description box. A massive thank you to Organic Basics for sponsoring today's video. Me? Me? But back to our style lies. Okay, one of the biggest has got to be that designer is better, i.e. expense equals quality. I cannot help but look at these separated different hands upon other sides of my human aisle. This is just not true. Maybe it used to be true at some time, but it is just not true now. Trust me, I have shopped quite a lot, and I am one who is intense about the quality of my things. I cannot tell you how many times I have browsed or purchased from luxury websites. Well, first of all, you're looking at a product that costs $1,000 and it is made of polyester. I mean, I don't even know how that's conscionable. There's an ethical issue there. We're not raging here today. It's not just about the fabrics that are used, although I do think that is one of the biggest issues. It's also about how things are sewn. Just because something costs a lot of money doesn't mean it wasn't made somewhere really crappy with really cheap labor. So it is unfortunately something you do need to look out for. You need to look for quality in every single item, wherever it comes from, whatever brand it may come from. But I would still apply caution and, judge every single luxury product as you would any other sort of a product. Forget about looking at the price tag, because that really doesn't tell you anything about quality in 2025. What you should be looking at is what the composition is, what the fabric is. You should also be looking at basic things like how the item is put together. Have the designers cut corners? Are there structural issues? Also things like seams, are there loose threads? Is the stitch loose? Is there a general symmetry to the piece? These are the things that let you know that something is high quality. Also basic things like making sure that doing this won't cause pulls.
Honey, I've got to go, but I'll call you back when I finish out a bit longer. I'll call you back later. You've got to listen. Thinking, no wonder you're away so.
Hey, you just want to start out, don't you? That's not good.
Another lie is that you will find your style on Pinterest. There are so many videos that I have watched that mention Pinterest. And look, I think Pinterest is a great tool. I was there in 2010 as well, okay? We all needed our Pinterest boards at that time. Was it 2010? I'm just gonna say it is. If you know that it was later, please give me the actual date down in the comments, okay? Pinterest may be a great place to look for inspiration, to collect ideas, but you will not find your style in Pinterest. Pinterest has an image of every kind, okay? It has every single outfit imaginable. So if you start collecting things you like, you'll probably end up with thousands of images. I think what it can be used for is getting initial inspiration, but in terms of getting cohesive and getting specific about your style, it can be more of a distraction than a help. I can guarantee that you're gonna see lots of pictures on Pinterest that you like. You've still gotta find the items that are right for you, and that requires a different kind of work. Everything must be perfectly manicured. Maybe I'm just a messy girl on some level, but this is just something that I find objectionable. I find these stylized, speaking of Pinterest, I find these stylized images of Pinterest where, you know, the model, she's got her hair perfectly curled in that way with the machine, and there's no bits hanging out, and then her makeup is perfectly caked on, and she's got all the highlights and the lashes. I'm thinking of those Halloween. Hey, it's October. I'm thinking of those American Halloween pumpkin Pinterest photos. You know the one. The girl's got the hat. She's got the little booty. She's wearing the tight jeans, fall colors. That's what I'm talking about. Western Australia is a pretty laid back place, I would say, generally speaking, but I do sometimes run into people who have done the whole gamut. And honestly, I don't like it. And I don't think it's something we should all aspire to. I don't think it's necessary. It's all in the eye of the beholder, of course, but who is beholding with their eyes of you? Pray tell. If it is you who are in your own eye of beholding, I think you should just learn to loosen up and just be like, yeah, my hair's naturally frizzy. And I can't be bothered getting it done more than once every 3 months, so there is always regrowth. Heck, in real life, I don't even wear makeup these days. Why are you wearing heels? It's okay to wear flats. You know what I mean? It doesn't all need to be perfected to a point where it's intimidating to come out, because I have had these friends in life where they can't make it to a place at a reasonable time. You can't be like, hey, what are you doing? Meet me at the pub for a sunset drink, because they have to spend an hour on their outfit and their makeup and all this stuff. Learn to like yourself a little bit more so that you can accept and openly wear a little bit of these imperfections. Your boobs don't need to be the right size, your eyelashes don't need to be stuck on, your hair doesn't need to be perfect, your outfit doesn't need to be perfect. And I think it's these little lapses of perfection that make people look more interesting. It's what makes people effortless and cool and difficult to copy. There's a French phrase for this, but I won't dare try to say it. But I think we need to allow a little bit more freedom in our representation, a little bit of acknowledgement, a little bit of self-love, and I think that's what makes the coolest dresses. I really do. Oh, before I forget, I recently did a collab with a great brand called Poppy Barley. I do have to inform you that due to internet piracy, we need to change the discount code for that collab. This code is valid until the end of December, but it is a new code. So please, if you are purchasing from Poppy Barley, use this code that's on the screen now for your 15% off. A little bit of housekeeping there. way, why aren't you asking me questions? Or is it just that I've become distracted and I'm not taking screenshots of your questions and reminding myself to answer them in future videos? Well, it might well be that. But can you please chat with me in the comments? I love hearing from you. I love to chat with you. And if you want more content from me, you can always join me on Patreon. So I'll see you there. You need denim. So if you know anything about me, you know that I have had past beef with denim. There were whole years where I did not wear denim. And honestly, I own a couple of pairs of denim now, but sometimes I still think maybe part of what makes denim an essential in most capsules is the fact that it's a neutral. It's a casual neutral, right? That's what makes denim great. So you can make outfits more low-key, which makes them look more effortless. But as someone who has had past opposition and potentially still minor opposition to denim, what I will say is that you can achieve the casual look if you want it with different fibers and different textures. What you have to pay attention to is the fit of the items you are wearing. For example, if you want to look a little bit more laid back, don't have a tight top and a tight pair of pants and a big stiletto. What you want to do instead is you want to have maybe like a tight top and a loose pair of trousers. Cut can really make things look more casual, and maybe a flat shoe. Also color. There are certain colors that read more casual than others. For example, if I were to wear a white cami and a white pair of trousers and again a pair of stilettos, that's going to look a lot more dressed up than say an earth-toned pair of trousers and again a flat shoe. I have low tolerance for heels, can you tell? It can also be about styling. You could make a shirt look sophisticated by tucking it in a certain way, or you could make a shirt look more laid back by unbuttoning it, maybe have half of it hanging out of your pants. Looking effortless is a vibe. It's not necessarily about key specific pieces. As a final note for this video, I would say that any kind of seasonal essential that anyone is trying to sell you, like you need a floral dress for spring, for example, or you need earth-toned whatever for fall, I wouldn't buy into that. I think buying into wardrobe essentials in general is not the best way to build your style. I think what is far more effective is to find your personal essentials that look good on you and that you can use in versatile ways and that you can rock. I guess I would apply that statement to any sorts of style rules as well. You make your own rules, and yes, of course, as with fashion, you can be inspired by certain style rules, but I wouldn't take them too seriously. That's the conclusion of this video. Spend more time investing in figuring out your style rather than going with all the rules and the formulas. That's a journey towards getting a wardrobe that's too big that ultimately may not work for you. What you waiting for, baby? What you waiting for? What you waiting for, my little guy? You already had all your treats. A massive thank you to you for joining me here today. Thank you for your support as always. A little reminder, the Organic Basics items that I mentioned earlier in this video, they are linked in the description box, and of course, here is my discount code. Once again, thank you so much to you for watching today. I really hope you have questions and comments for me. I'll see you down there in the comments. Bye.